the upsell menu, emails. Typical. What I want to do here is I want to give you guys an option, sort of a menu of 10 different things that you can choose from, and then also roughly how much you should be charging for each one. Because I know that's a big sticking point a lot of people have, and a reason people don't offer certain things is because they lack clarity around how much they should actually be charging. Right? They don't know what's appropriate, they don't know what's too much or not enough, etc., etc. And then I'm also going to try and give you some resources about where you can actually go and learn these skills if they're not skills that you have already. Cool. So first and most obvious one, like I said, is email. Typical sort of rate for email. You ideally at the beginning is about $100 an email. Some people start off, maybe less, maybe 50 an email, which is still honestly not too bad, right? You're still getting paid like 50 to 100 an hour, depending on how fast you write an email. But you ideally want to be starting around the $100 an email mark. That's kind of where most pro copywriters sit. And then of course you can increase that, right? There are people who charge 150, 200, even 300. And one dude who charges $1,000 per email. So just to show you what's possible. But of course, we don't want to be charging per email because, like I said, it's the whole purpose of what we're trying to do today. So we want to package it in a monthly retainer, meaning if you're going to write them a daily email, let's say 30 emails a month, okay, every single day, 7 days a week, that would be 30 times 100, $3 grand a month. Pretty easy, right? If we're doing like 4 emails a week, 4 times 5 is like 20 emails a month, $2 grand a month. Pretty typical rates there. Cool. So let's say you're already offering them email, which I know a lot of you guys are. Some very, very easy ways of increasing your income is to simply ask the client, okay, like I said, on the closing call in week 4, you get to the part where you're making an offer. And I always advise you have 2 different options. Okay, you have your sort of normal package, and then you have a more expensive one. You offer more value and it's more expensive. Okay, so ideally, you want to have your main service, and then you want to have an additional service on top of that where you kind of do both for them. And that's good. Here's the thing. Pretty much every business is going to need Facebook ads. Does every business need more clients and customers? Yes. Does every business need more leads? Yes. So if they had a way where they could pay Mr. Zuck $1 and get $2 back, would they want to do it? Yes. And the reason they're not doing it is because they probably don't know what they're doing with Facebook ads. They're too scared, it looks too complicated, and so they'd rather just avoid. So just because they're not running Facebook ads yet doesn't mean they shouldn't be. And if they are running Facebook ads, then you can step in and hopefully help them with it and do it better. Cool. So as we discussed last week, who received the call last week, we went in super in depth about Facebook ads. So I basically gave you my entire what I call the 2022 Facebook ad formula, which is super compliant, and it essentially follows a framework. I'll quickly go back and review it of calling out without calling out a attribute that your clients have, but in a way that's compliant. Let me show you this. So cool. So this is the training that we did last week. Now, if you haven't seen it, people get access to the Inner Circle members area, go and watch it. Okay. This kind of sets the foundation. I'm not going to teach you how to write Facebook ads today because I already did that last week. So we went over 5 qualities of kick-ass Facebook ad. Went over the ultra low-cost Facebook ad formula, which is this formula. So we're going to start with a Me Too pattern interrupt, like I said, which can be any of these things here. Then we want to move into a credibility piece, like talking about why they should care, why they should listen to you, and a background story. Either or works fine. This is the piece that's most important, in my opinion, is actually offering some sort of value. Okay, you actually teach them something in the ad, so it doesn't feel like an ad; it feels more like a post, like content, which makes it more shareable. We also conclude like, wow, this person's like actually an expert. They know what they're talking about. They can probably help me. And the next time they see something from you, they're much more likely to pay attention. They're much more likely to click. This is where the industry is heading in terms of ads. So definitely you want to start doing more value-based ads if you aren't already. And then it's a very clear call to action at the end. Cool. And then I went about 5 proven Facebook ad angles, and I give you examples of each one. So after learning everything we went through here, and then everything we went through about compliance the week before, pretty much everyone here should be able to go out and write Facebook ads for clients. Okay, I'm not saying you're going to be a rock star right off the bat, but you have here literally the formula. I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars learning stuff from various experts: Rudy Moore, Dan Bolton, Tanner Chisler, Taki Moore, lots of people who are crushing. Some stuff from Ed Ray as well about compliance and Justin Goff. So you don't have to. That's why we're here. Cool. So, and then I went over how to get paid $3,000 to write 10 simple Facebook ads. And the way you're able and have clients frankly happy and thrilled to pay that amount of money is because the typical rate for a Facebook ad is about $100 on the low end to even up to about $300 on the higher end. So I don't want anyone here charging lower than $100 for an ad. Let's just make that our minimum. Okay. I don't want you charging $50 for an ad. Like, let's just set the minimum at 100. If you are really good, you can charge up to about 300. And sure, there's some exceptions. People who charge more because they're excellent and have a really good reputation. I don't want to cap you at 300, but let's just keep it in this range for like 90% of people here. So let's do some quick maths. 5 ads. You're gonna write your client 5 ads. Let's say I'm gonna give you 5 ads. Let's say your rate is halfway between there. It's $200. Okay, $200 times 5 is $1,000. But it doesn't end there because rather than just saying, hey, I'm gonna give you 5 ads, which would be 5 primary text, 5 headlines, and 5 creatives, you say, hey, instead of just giving you 5, I will make each one a dynamic ad, and I'll give each of those 5 ads 5 different variations of the primary text and then 5 different variations of the headline for just an extra 50%. It's kind of a no-brainer. So you're basically saying, hey, I'm gonna give you 25 ads instead of 5 ads for an extra $500. You're already paying me $1,000. So for $1,500, you can have 5 times more ads. It's a pretty good deal, in my opinion, and it's not really much extra work for you, okay? You don't actually have to write 5 new ads. All you do for the primary text, like I said, is you simply change the lead, aka the first sentence, first above the fold, right, above the see more button, so the first like 1 to 4 sentences, or 2 to 4 sentences, and then you can go into the rest of pretty much the same ad, right? So pretty much like in this piece, you would just be changing this part here, the Me Too pattern interrupt. Okay, you'd be changing the declaration statement, the bold claim, the hook, that kind of thing. Okay, and then the rest of the ad can literally just be the same because 90% of people who have seen the ad have not clicked see more to see what's below the fold. They've only ever seen the first couple sentences. So to them, it's a completely different ad, right? And it's like hardly, well, it's nowhere near as much work as writing a whole new ad for you. Cool. And then you'll write 5 different headlines, and again, how long does it take to come up with a headline and not super long? So then, now we've gone from 1,000 to 1,500. We're not done yet because cold ads, or ads to cold traffic is only sort of half the ballgame. Most media buyers, Michael, correct me if I'm wrong here, know that really the money, the juice, the super juicy low CPAs are in the retargeting ads and bringing people back to the page. They might have clicked on the sales page and gone, oh, it's cool, and they clicked away. We want to follow those people around the internet, bring them back, and help them to buy. So the way we do that, and proven formulas for retargeting ads, like we talked about last time, are going to be objection handling, or just testimonials. Those are two forms of retargeting ads that work super well every time. They're pretty much evergreen because your pool of people in the retargeting pool, I suppose, is constantly changing depending on the cold traffic on the front end. So they have a lot more like length to them. Okay, you can leave these retargeting ads running for like months versus the cold ones, you have to keep sort of switching up a bit more regularly and refreshing them. So for the retargeting ads, you can offer them 3 objection handling ads, aka pick 3 objections or pick 3 reasons why your people are not buying. So when they reach the sales page, why aren't they buying? Come up with the top 3 objections that they're buying. You can ask them, you can interview them, you can do what you gotta do to find out. Okay, get on the phone to the customers and ask them, okay, why did you buy? Did you nearly not buy? Why did you nearly not buy? Okay, you can even ask people who are, I would just pick like a few people who didn't buy, maybe who answered the email but they didn't buy, and I'll just email them to, hey dude, just wondering like why I didn't buy, right? Just ask them. And then they'll give you feedback, like, oh, it's too expensive, oh, I didn't think it would work for me, or, oh, I'm just too busy with other programs and courses. Okay, cool. So you hear those same 3 things coming up over and over again. Now you're gonna make 3 ads, 1 handling each objection, and you run those as retargeting ads. Easy. And then 2 ads you have as just testimonials. So people have been to your product and raving about it. That's probably better for the video, but you can also, Facebook's removed the text rule now that they used to have where your ad couldn't be more than like 20% text or whatever the number was. And so now you can still, you can run screenshots of testimonials as ads, no problems. So we do an extra 5 retargeting ads. That's an extra 5 times $20. That's an extra grand. And again, we're gonna do this dynamic creative as well, which means we give them 5 variations of each one. That's an extra $500. And then boom, 1,500 for the cold, 1,500 for the retargeting ads, all with dynamic creatives. So they have lots of different variations, and boom, you're getting paid $3 grand for 10 ads. I think that's pretty gangster. No reason why literally like everyone here can't do that, especially after the training we've had in the last couple of weeks about Facebook ads. That's really all you need to know in there, unless you do copywriters already. So it's like, you should be good. Cool. That's the second thing we can offer. If they're already running Facebook ads, you can just make Facebook ad variations. So maybe they have ads ready. Well, you can just do this piece here. We can say, hey man, I will make a dynamic creative version of all of these ads that you already have. So you can just do the extra 500 part if they're maybe happy with their ad that they have already. It's another option. Retargeting ads, we just went over that. Same deal, same cost, same everything. And it's really important. It's a big opportunity. So there's lots of people who will be running ads, but they won't have retargeting ads. And you can inform them that they're missing out on so much revenue. They're missing out on it's like following up, right? How important would you guys say following up is? It couldn't be more important, right? It's where like 70-80% of sales come from. In pretty much every business is the follow-up. So why wouldn't you be following up with your ads? Okay, it's the same thing. You need to be targeting people and basically following up, because not everyone's going to buy in the first time. Like most people will not buy when they click on the sales page. They'll click away. We got to bring them back. So you got to educate your clients on why they need to be doing these retargeting ads, and then sell them on retargeting ads. Get paid. Cool. Number 4 thing that you guys can offer: landing pages. If they are sending emails to their list, it means they are collecting emails somewhere, which means they will have a landing page. And if that landing page is not converting at least 30%, 30% is kind of the industry norm. So if it's not converting at least 30%, I mean, I've seen as high as like 50%, some of them are even higher. But we ideally want to aim for about 30% opt-in. So for people that land in your opt-in page where they have to enter the email to download something, you want that to be converting at about 30%, kind of normal. So depending on how much copy is required, like if it's a very simple landing page with like 2 lines of text and an opt-in thing, not very much work at all, so you could probably be like $500. If it's more of like a longer, not long form like sales page, but a bit more copy heavy sort of landing page, then you can charge, I reckon, up to $1,000 is a pretty fair price for a landing page. It really depends on how complex they want it, but usually like the simpler the better with these things. I know Mr. Jason Capital, if you guys follow him, he's told me a couple times that his highest ever converting landing page that he's ever written or ever made, I don't think it's online anymore, but it was by far the simplest. I think I had like 9 words in total on the whole page. It was literally just a picture of his book. The book was called Fuck Jobs, and it was like this big orange and white book that just said like Fuck Jobs in giant letters, and then an email opt-in. I think there was maybe like 1 sentence of copy. It was like hardly any words, super simple. And much else is back there. Cool. Number 5 is going to be a Facebook compliant sales letter, or a compliant rewrite of a sales letter that they might already have that they can't run Facebook ads to because it's not compliant with Facebook's policies. Okay. And if you don't know much about compliance, we did an entire training on it 2 weeks ago, which you have to watch, giving you have access to all of the Inner Circle library. Go and watch. So what you can do is, most of you dudes here are probably charging around 5 to 10 grand for a sales letter. This depends a ton on your experience. Some people when they're starting may charge like 2 or 3 grand, and there's people obviously at super high ends to find Georgie's charging 50 grand, 100 grand for a sales letter. So because obviously, it's the client means. Okay. So using what we went over about 2 or 3 months ago, we did a whole like 4-part sales page training on literally how to write a sales page from scratch, the whole research process. It's kind of loosely following the RMBC method, combined with stuff I've learned from Agora and I've learned from David Deutsch. So we went over the whole research process, putting together the brief, the mechanism, and then the actual letter itself. So writing out the copy and turning our little like sort of notes, research document into a fully fledged high converting sales letter. So you guys, pretty much from that training alone, would be able to go out there and write a sales letter. It's not going to be amazing the first time, likely, but you have the formula there that's proven over and over again to work. Lots of you guys have also been through like RMBC and had other trainings as well for sales letters. There's no reason you shouldn't be offering that. Right? It's a high ticket thing. You can easily charge people 5, 10 grand, even more. I know, like Josh here, when he joined us in CMB, couldn't charge more than like $1 grand for a sales letter because he just couldn't get over his own like mental bullshit. And he got on a call with Ari. Ari slapped him around the face and said, "Hey, Josh, you should charge way more." And I'd said the same thing. So I was like, "Man, I bought so much stuff from sales pages that Josh wrote for Jason Capital that I had no idea that Josh actually wrote those." I was like, "You wrote that? That was amazing." And so many people had to tell him it was a really good copywriter before he believed it. And then now, boom, just like that, he's charging 10 grand minimum. He actually got rejected from a client. He saw the interview. He got rejected because his prices were too low. He got on the phone to some like big 8-figure offer owner and was like, "Okay, I can do a sales page for you for $5 grand." And then the guy was like, "$5 grand. So, listen, kid, we don't pay our copywriters anything less than 10K. So like, come back when you're ready to take this shit seriously." Josh was like, "What? I just got rejected because my prices were too low." It's crazy. I've heard about that happening before. So charge a lot for a sales page because it's going to make them a lot in return. And it's a lot of work. Groovy. Another thing you can do, let's say they already have a sales page that they are only sending traffic to from email or from YouTube ads or from other sources, affiliates and stuff, social media as well. What you can do is you can offer them, charge them about $1,000 to $2,000 and do a basically compliant rewrite of their sales letter. So you're going to remove all of the claims, like all of the things we mentioned in the last couple of weeks about compliance, basically changing the negatives to be more positive, not calling out your target avatar as much as traditional copy. Because as you guys know, of course, traditional copywriting is very like negative focused. It's very like, we want to remove the pain. It's like, are you sick and tired of being like, vastly overweight, and every time you lift your shirt off, you bow your head in shame, you dread the beach, and being seen shirtless in public because it just makes you feel like an empty, hollow shell of a man. And you see the way your wife looks at you isn't the same anymore, and she's like admiring other men. That's with admiration and just gives you this look like, what is this, like fat slob, Jabba the Hutt you've become? You know what I mean? Like that's like traditional like copywriting. It's like we take the knife, fucking stab them, and just twist the knife, right? And like really hit the pain points hard. On Facebook, that's a big no-no. Okay, they don't want you doing that because they want the customer experience to be positive for everyone on the platform. Because otherwise, guess what? If every time you logged into Facebook, you felt like shit because you're just getting called out nonstop for being like broke, depressed, loser with back pain who can't get girls and will die lonely and miserable, you probably wouldn't be on Facebook very long. So we want to make the experience positive. Okay, so we have to shift all of the negative sort of language to be more positive and say stuff like, imagine what it would be like, if every time you went to the beach, you look forward to just ripping your shirt off and showing everyone your hard work and setting a great example for your kids and your family, feeling lighter on your feet, feeling happy and healthy every day. That's a much better way of saying the same thing. Okay, and that's the way Facebook prefers it. So. And there's tons of other compliance things that most people don't know, don't realize that you can't say on Facebook. But after the last two trainings we had, you guys will know everything you will ever need to know about Facebook compliance, unless they change the policies. But everything you need to know for now, anyway, about Facebook compliance. So you can super easily, unless the only exception is like if their entire big idea and mechanism is like not compliant at all. If the big idea is just like, here's how to make $1 million working 1 minute a day, that's going to be tricky. It's going to be tricky because you have to change the whole like angle of the sales letter. It's way more work. You can still do it though, you can still offer it, but just charge more. So it's pretty easy to come in and charge $1 grand or $2 grand to basically do a compliant overhaul, rewrite of the sales letter for Facebook. And that way they can send Facebook ads way more money than they're currently making. So actually, 1 to 2 grand is nothing. Because they'll probably make that money back within like a few days from that. Cool. This is making sense so far. Peter, welcome to the party, son. It's good to see you, man. I know you worked up a little while ago. Cool. Speaking of sales pages, what would be a good sales page without upsells and downsells? That is where most of the AOV and most of the money is actually made, is on the upsells. So having an upsell that converts and converts like 30 to 50%, that's like the golden zone. If you can get it to convert at 30 to 50%, that's a very good upsell. And we did an entire training again on upsells, on everything I've learned about upsells from Justin Goff specifically, also from some of the genius copywriters, Dan Kennedy, David Deutsch, Agora, etc. So going back, you can go watch the training that we did on upsells to learn everything you need to know about how to write an upsell. But these are very important because imagine if you can take someone's, let's say they have a book funnel, they're selling a book on the front end, and it costs them $30 to get a customer to buy the book, and the book costs $10. They're losing $20 on every front end sale. Now it's not the end of the world because they probably have some sort of high ticket program on the back end, and that's where they make the actual profit and the real money. But it would be much better if they didn't have to lose $20 on every customer on the front end, because that's going to be pretty damn hard to scale unless you've got deep pockets. Because if you scale it up to, imagine 100 buyers a day, 100 times 20, that's like $2 grand a day you're losing on the front end. So it's like the more customers you get, the more money you're out of pocket. And if your sales cycle is like 30 days, you can imagine $2 grand a day times 30 days. You're going 60 grand in the hole before you're like recouping this money. So it'd be much better if we could get that to the holy magic promised land of zero or even actually profitable on the front end. So if you can get that funnel to be a self-liquidating offer, meaning it costs them $30 to acquire a customer for Facebook ads and they make $30 or more in that very moment, in that exact sale on average, then dude, you're laughing. You can scale that to the fucking moon very quickly. Okay, I mean, there's issues with scaling, like it doesn't like scale linear and smoothly like Michael's income in CMB. Right, usually you have to do it the right way because it'll break likely at some point. But that's a good problem to have. You can work that out later. So if you can basically apply everything we talked about in the upsell training that we did the other day, or the other week, then you can literally take a funnel from not profitable on the front end to profitable on the front end. Where imagine now they spend $30 to get a customer, they make $30 back, they break even on the front end, meaning everything on the back end is pure profit. They are growing an email list full of not only leads but buyers, actual proven buyers who are way more likely to buy something else from them because they've proven themselves to be buyers. They're more dedicated, high quality prospects. And you're acquiring them for free instead of paying $5 a lead, $10 a lead when you're running a lead magnet or a mousetrap. Like I'm giving away something for free, like my cheat sheet in exchange for an email. Right? That's crazy. If you can be that person, or even they're making money on the front end, that's so scalable. You can easily scale that up to $5 grand a day, $10 grand a day in ad spend, and like, dude, that's just how you like make millions, super quickly. Okay. So if you can be that person, you're gonna be a fucking hero to your client. So the way I usually charge upsells, correct me if I'm wrong. Well, not correct me if I'm wrong. Sorry. Correct me is the wrong word. If you guys have a different model of charging for upsells, basically, I'd love to hear from you how much you charge for upsells. But my general rule of thumb is about half of a full sales letter. So let's say you charge them 10 grand for a sales letter. I think 5 grand for the upsell would be pretty fair. One, because it's probably about half the work, and then two, because it's super important. It's really important. It's kind of the make or break of if your funnel is profitable or not on the front end. So upsells super important, and we won't have downsells in the same training. Or if it's someone that you really know, like, and trust, like you've done work with them before, and there's someone that you trust will not fuck you over, there is another sort of way of structuring the pricing when it comes to upsells. Elements from Justin Goff. This is kind of his deal and what he does pretty regularly. So I forgot what business it was, but Justin, he tells a story about how he went into, there was someone's funnel that was, I think it was losing $1 or $2 on average order value on the front end. So they're paying like $16 to acquire a customer and they're only making $15 back. Okay, not the end of the world, but I mean, you don't want to scale something that's not profitable. So what he did is he went to them and he said, I will rewrite you an upsell for free, like don't pay me anything up front, but for every dollar that I increase your average order value, which would have been 1/16 of what they were currently doing, then, well, I think they were doing $16 then, so it was 1/16. So he went for every 1/16, so for every dollar I increase your average order value, you can make 20 grand. And he managed to increase it by like $2.50. So they cut him a check for like 50 something thousand dollars just because of that. 50 grand for writing an upsell that took him about 2 days. Not too bad at all. So what you can do is you don't have to charge 20 grand per 1/16 increase. Okay, you can pick any sort of arbitrary number that makes sense for you and also makes sense. So you can lower that to 10 grand, you can lower it to 5 grand, 2 grand, whatever makes sense. That they're likely to recoup that money and also make it worth your while to actually do it. Cool. Does that deal structure make sense? And again, you might not think, well, $2.50 like increase in average order value, like who cares? That's a big deal. That is literally the difference. They went from losing money on the front end, spending 16 to make 15 back, to then spending 16 and making $17.50 on the front end. That's all. If you get a company that's at a high level, they're spending tens of thousands a day in ads and they're getting hundreds or even thousands of buyers a day, that is a dramatic difference for them. That's like the difference in profitable and not profitable. It's a crazy difference. So you can charge accordingly. Cool. This is making sense so far? Yeah, Peter, exactly. This is something that you can offer them. Because like I said before, give me one business that doesn't need more clients, more customers, more leads. They all do. And ads is a great way to do that. Cool. So next one. We already covered this in CMB, but just doing social content for them. So if you're already writing emails, it's pretty damn easy to take an email that you already wrote and turn it into an Instagram caption, or a Facebook caption, or a LinkedIn caption, or all of the above. So super easy upsell is, let's say you're charging $1,000 a month for emails, is to say, hey, rather than rather than 2,000, if you pay me 3,000 a month instead of 2,000, I will also write all of your Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn captions every day and post them so that you never have to worry about what to do for those ever again. So all your socials and all your emails are just handled. Pretty attractive for them. You can probably even charge like $1,500 if you're doing all of those platforms. And all you do, you take the email you already wrote, you shorten it a little bit. They should have a Google Drive or Dropbox folder full of pictures. Okay, you're not a fucking photographer, you're not a graphic designer, you're not a video editor, you're not going out and making content for them. It's just a caption, just to be clear, and like posting it. You can charge more if you're actually going into Instagram and posting it. But they should have a drive, folder full of pictures. You just pick a picture, download it, you add your caption. It's super easy and quick. You can smash it out. You can have like, every Monday you can just do the whole week's content in one go and schedule it out. Facebook and Instagram, they have a built-in native planner now. You don't need to use third-party planning tools like Later and Hootsuite and all that stuff. Because Facebook just has a built-in one. So you can just use Facebook's one. Okay, if you just go to your business page, it's called the scheduler or something like that, and you can schedule out all of your posts directly within like Facebook, which obviously they prefer because they don't like third-party apps. Easy upsell. And it's very attractive as well because you're copy pasting the same thing to Facebook, to Instagram, and to LinkedIn. But to them, it's like, damn, I'm getting all of my socials handled on all these platforms. It just seems like a lot more work and a lot more value than it actually is in terms of how long it takes you, which is good. Cool. Number 8, blogs. Pretty typical. At the level you guys are at is to charge, I would say, absolutely no less than $200, but ideally like $300 to $400 per blog post, even $500 is pretty fair. So usually blog posts are about 1,000 words, 1,200, 1,400, something like that. It's like just a super long email, basically, right? You guys know what blogs are, you've read them before. Mainly it's the time to sort of do the research and come up with the topic and talk about it in the blog, right? But the reason most people do them, of course, it's really lead gen. Okay, there's no really other reason to do blogs, right? So if I Google how to lose weight fast, dead set, I'm going to find some of these. These will all be basically blogs, or some of them even advertorials. So they're going to give me value. It's going to be articles. Usually going to be like a list-based blog work really well. People love lists. 7 things to never eat, or whatever it is. 7 ways to effortlessly lose weight. It's going to be a thing. And then if they're smart, at the end, bang, there it is. The whole point of this is to generate leads. Okay, it's to get people's email. So usually at the end, there'll be an opt-in like this. If they want to push it a bit harder, they could say, hey, this is just the beginning. This is only 9 ways to lose weight. But if you want our in-depth guide or our video masterclass, cheat sheet, checklist, training, whatever it is, your mousetrap basically, then enter your email here and we'll send it over. Okay, you want to incentivize them for the email because otherwise no one wants to sign up for a fucking newsletter. They just don't. Okay, how good it is. Okay, it's not sexy. So you need to give them a little carrot, a little bit of cheese, a reason as to why they should sign up. You can have the old exit pop-ups if you want to go down that route as well. Cool. In terms of where to learn how to write blogs, before we had email domination as a training, of course, if you're wanting where to learn email domination, I'll go over this quickly. Where to learn email domination training, okay, in Teachable by Sam and Tyler. Where to learn Facebook ads and retargeting ads, this members area here, the inner circle, the last 2 trainings that we had. Landing pages, you can just copy my template that I've already given you, use the link in ClickFunnels and rewrite it. Nothing super magical. It's not like super magical formula when it comes to landing pages. Like it's just an opt-in box and a big copy and a picture that looks enticing. You don't need to do a whole fucking course on how to write them. Facebook compliance sales letter in the inner circle as well. Training. Upsells and downsells in the inner circle, members area. Social content, I just went over how to do that. Blogs, before we had email domination, we had a training by my friend Jordan on how to write blog posts. If you want that training, just email me or text me. Actually, text me is better, and I'll send you a link to that training if you want to learn how to write blogs, and that's something you want to do. Next, chat closing and appointment setting. This is, of course, we have a training on this already in the bonus section of the members area. It's a chat closing masterclass. Also, Rafi, who's my dude, my chat closer, probably made over $1 million for me at this point. He's coming up with his own program, partnering with Don Becker. Don Becker is Stefan Georgi's chat closer. I'm happy I was able to introduce him. And they're basically coming up with a program to help you get better as a chat closer. So that's cool. And also don't forget Matt and Nico, the calls with them every single week, where you can send them your copy, your emails, and your landing pages, and your sales letters, and your upsells, and your downsells, and get feedback from them, because that's how we learn and grow. That's how we get better, is learning how to do it the right way, practicing, and then getting expert feedback from people who are way better than you, aka Matt and Nico, who've been better than most people here. Cool. Even if they're at the same level as you, it always helps to get outside eyes, right, and perspectives on your stuff, things that you might have missed. Cool. So that'll help the time as well with getting better. And the better you are, the more you can charge, okay, and better results you can deliver. So number 9, I won't spend long on this because you guys already know what it is. Chat closing and appointment setting. This works really well if you are offering emails, because one of the best ways to make money with email is to send spear emails, which are designed to get replies. The problem is, once all these people start replying, your clients probably won't know the best way to handle it. They'll just see that they're getting flooded with emails, and they won't have the time, most likely, or know the best way to go about actually auditioning and converting those replies into actual customers, people who are going to buy a high-ticket thing, booking calls and buying stuff, or just closing over chat. So norm for chat closing, usually about 10 to 20% commission. Kind of depends on the price point. It's usually like commission only, although some people do get a base rate as well, but industry sort of norms like 10 to 20% commission, depending on the price point of the product, right? So if you're selling something that's like $3,000, then you get $300 to $600, I guess, per pop. And then appointment setting is the same thing, except instead of closing them all the way to the end, all you're doing is booking calls. So you're just qualifying them and then booking a call. And then the closer, or them, whoever the client is, will step in and close them on the phone. If you're also closing them on the phone, then obviously you can be charging more because you're doing twice as much work. So typical sort of rate for appointment setting is going to be $1,000 to $1,500 retainer every month. And then on top of that, commission, usually about 5 to 10% for appointment setting. Okay, and I want to stress as well, this is inbound only. You're not doing a bunch of cold outreach every day. You're not sending all these cold emails and DMs to try and get people in. Okay, if they want cold outreach, they can hire a VA to do that. That's not your job. They don't need to be paying you big money to do something. They could get someone, pay someone $5, $10 an hour to do. Okay, so inbound only. I want to stress that. Or they're going to have to pay you a hell of a lot more if they want you to do outbound. And then the last one, this is kind of for pros only, right? High level shit. But if you are a damn good copywriter or media buyer or just damn good at what you do, then it's pretty damn easy. You can be charging. You can basically charge people to do audits or makeovers for them. So essentially, maybe they have a funnel, right, all the way from the ads to the checkout page. So from the ad to the landing page to the sales page to the upsells to the downsells, all the way to the checkout page. from soup to nuts, as they say in America. Never really understood that expression. I think it's funny though. So I think it's something to do with dinner. When you have dinner, like the soup's entree, and then nuts are the dessert. Something like that. Anyway, Americans, man, y'all are strange. So if you're really good at all of this stuff, if you have a very high level understanding, you've been through all these inner circle trainings, you should have a pretty high level understanding of overall marketing strategies and funnels by now. Then you can go into someone, you can charge them a significant amount of money, right? If they're a high level, you can charge them $5,000 or even $10,000 to diagnose and fix their funnel. So you can basically, they bring you in like an expert, like a damn doctor, say, hey, my shit's not converting, and I don't know why. And then it's up to you, and you can come in and you can say, all right, I'll take a look. And you're gonna look at everything from there. Ads, right? It could be something on the front end, it could be something to do with ads, that the CPC is too high. Or it could be the sales page not converting high enough, right? Maybe it's only converting 0.5% instead of 1%. Maybe the upsells suck and only converting 10% instead of 30%. There's so many different things it could be. But without expert help, it's often hard to determine what it is. And they're too in the trenches in their business to have a sort of eagle eye view of what might be the problem. Or giving you email follow-ups or some automation thing that's broken, so many things it could be. So if you're confident as a copywriter, like this is why I said pros only, if you are really, really damn confident in your skills and abilities as a copywriter with overall funnel marketing strategy and Facebook ads, then this is certainly something you can offer your clients as well. Cool. So that's the bulk of today's training. A couple notes that we have here on pricing. Here's my question for you. If you could let me know in the chat, which of these, if you had to pick one of these to offer, is most appealing, most attractive to you? Which one do you see yourself offering? So Peter says charging for ads if he's in a chat closer, for sure. Yeah. Facebook ads are great. I mean, honestly, as a copywriter, I think they're really like a lot of potential. Like I've always been like email, and I still think that. I think Facebook ads are like honestly just as easy as emails. Yeah, and exactly. If you don't want to do it yourself, you can always contract it to other people. But as I've just shown you here, not much extra work for the money you're getting for some of these things. So hopefully I've expanded your mind, giving you some ideas of other things you can offer your clients. Now, this is email, blogs, landing pages, funnels, socials. Yeah, 100%. Just kind of figure out what they need help with the most and then offer them that. It's like my graphic designer. He started, like I've paid this guy thousands of dollars at this point, and not once have I actually asked him really to do anything for me. This is like how crazy this is. So he literally just emailed me, messaged me on Facebook one day, because I think he got referred to me by one of his clients, just like pestering the shit out of me to make a logo for me. He's like, sir, you need a logo. Sir, you need a logo. And I was like, fine, okay, I guess you can go make a logo. I was like, how much do you want? He's like, $50. I was like, okay, it's $50, go make a logo. And he basically just keeps coming back like every week and offering me new stuff. It's like, you need a new this, you need a new that, you need a new banner thing for your website. You need new Instagram highlight reel things. Like he just finds things. I don't ask him, like he just finds things that he thinks I need. And I wouldn't recommend the way he does it, which is kind of just pestering me relentlessly until I cave in. But the point is he's proactive, right? He's not waiting, he's not an order taker. He's not waiting for me to say, hey, can you make me a logo? He's proactively saying, you need a logo. This is how much it's going to cost. Do you want to do it? And you have 100% more chance of them saying yes than just sitting there waiting for them to ask you. Okay? So the point here is be proactive, be like John. Offer your clients and your prospects this stuff. Don't wait for them to reach out to you and say, hey, I need Facebook ads. Like say, hey man, this is the way you want to phrase it. Literally, you'd be like, actually write it down here. I see an opportunity to make more money and I have some ideas I want to run by you. Would you open hopping on a quick, 5-10 minute call sometime this week? And I can walk you through the ideas. Bang. Close them. You say, hey, I noticed we're doing this. I think if we had all these other dynamic variations on our ads, like we could be, testing 5 times more variations with each one, and we could be like, the chances of having a winner would be 5 times higher. So I'm happy to do that for you for an extra, whatever it is, 500,000 for all these new ads and retargeting ads. It's so easy to upsell them. You're like a doctor. You're literally telling them, hey, you're leaving big money on the table by not having Facebook ads, by not having retargeting ads, by not having all this stuff. I can do it for you for this much. And if you communicated the value, how much they could be making if they had this stuff, it's pretty easy. It's pretty no-brainer. They're gonna be like, oh yeah, you're right. Like, yeah, I probably will make 5 times, 10 times, 100 times what I'm gonna pay you. It's just about being proactive and actually offering this stuff to them rather than being an order taker. Okay, cool. Let's go over a couple of pricing hacks that I think are pretty ninja. So obviously when it comes to everything we talked about when it comes to offers, if you guys have read Alex Hormozy's book, $100 million offers, he talks about offer is king, and that's super true. And you want to craft your offer in a way that's so compelling that they basically feel like an idiot for saying no. And an easy, obvious way to do that is a kind of like pay out of profits model, where you basically say, hey, don't pay me anything upfront, only pay me if I make you money, right? Which is Alex Hormozy's whole model for his gym launch thing. He basically would go into gyms and say, hey, it's free to work with me upfront. I'm going to take you from making 30 grand a month to 100 grand a month, and all I ask for is like 30 grand once we do that. So people are like, hell yeah, I got nothing to lose. So it's a very attractive offer if you can deliver. That's the thing. So pay out of profits model, a way of doing this that I've learned recently that I think is really, really killer, pretty sneaky, pretty gangster, is what I call 50-50 split. So it's nothing super new or revolutionary, but it's a super easy way to literally double your income from actually doing zero extra work. Here's the thing. So let's say right now you're charging $5,000 for a sales letter and you want to double your income. Rather than charging $10,000 for a sales letter, which you can still absolutely do, a way you can frame that pricing is just tell them, hey, it's 5 grand upfront, and then another 5 grand only once you hit $50,000 in sales from the sales letter. You're still going to get paid 10 grand if you can deliver, of course. And it's just a much like sort of cheaper way. It sounds a lot cheaper than 10 grand upfront. They're still paying the same 10 grand, but this one, you're basically saying, hey, it's 5 grand upfront, and then you're basically saying like, hey, I've got some skin in the game here. I'm not going to get that 5K unless I deliver for you. And so, of course, you're much more incentivized to do a better job with the sales letter, but then also they're like, okay, this person's, they have some skin in the game. Like they're going to go above and beyond to make sure that the sales letter is good because otherwise they won't get paid. Cool. So I'm not saying instead of charging 10 grand upfront to charge 5 grand upfront and 5 grand once say 10K sales. I'm saying if you're charging 5 grand at the moment, then you can offer this, and you've literally just doubled your income without doing anything. And it's not really going to hurt your conversions that much. 5 grand upfront versus 5 grand upfront and 5 grand once they hit 50K in sales. It's not a huge difference to the prospect. They're not going to be like, oh man, it doesn't feel like twice as much. It's a cheeky little pricing hack that you can use. Cool. I don't know, Chris Evans, a lot of the traffic funnels guys, Justin Goff and Stefan Georgi, a lot of other like big name direct response marketers and copywriters and companies. This is a pretty typical deal for them. This is pretty common in what they pay their copywriters. It's usually something upfront and then the other half is like only after a certain milestone is hit. Another example, let's say right now you're charging $4,000 for a sales letter, and you want to double your income. Instead of charging 8K, you could charge them 5K, and then just say 3K once we hit $30,000 in sales. You've just still earned 8K, but it's just structured in a way that's more enticing to the client. Cool. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty ninja. Who's going to try this one? It's a similar idea to, remember you guys, we did upsell training, and one of the proven pricing models that we talked about in the sales page and the upsell training was just having 2 payments as a way to test price. So instead of like a $97 upsell, one of the most proven pricing models and structures of upsells is literally just 2x97. You double your income straight away, right? Assuming all of the rebills go through. Rather than your 197, you're saying it's 2 payments of 97. And you're charging out for the same thing. So it's pretty cool. And it doesn't really hurt conversions that much, which is crazy. So cool. Always just remember, keep in mind with all this stuff, the 10x rule. Like I said in CMB, when it comes to pricing, I always like to charge my price as 1/10 of the value that I'm providing. So that's why I've chosen all these numbers to be a tenth, right? So it's 5K once I hit 50K in sales. Once I get 50K worth of profits, worth of value, then you charge 5 for that. That's a pretty good ratio to keep in mind. When in doubt, just charge 1/10 of the value that they're going to be getting. They should be getting 10 times more value than what they're paying you. That's my own personal rule that I like to follow, that I know is pretty common amongst a lot of other, I don't want to call myself a top tier marketer, but you know what I mean? A lot of top tier marketers, they're the same philosophy as well. So keep that in mind. One more cheeky little pricing hack. My aircon's broken and it's really hot in here, so I'm going to do my best to wrap this up soon. I'm slowly melting. Fucking room is an oven. Is the drug dealer method. Okay? The drug dealer method. What is the drug dealer method? Very simple. Just like any good drug dealer, you just get them hooked with one small sample, and then boom, before you know it, they are regular buyers. So, not that I'm not a drug dealer, but I mean, I think it's pretty common knowledge about how it works. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say here is an easy way to upsell people, your clients, or even new clients, is just to start with one service. Okay, you're not going to come out of the gate with your fucking dick swinging for the fences and being like, hey, I want to offer you emails and blogs and landing pages and funnels and a sales page. It's like too much, right? So you want to start with one service, crush it for them. So you start with just emails. You do that for a couple weeks. They're really happy with it. And you say, hey, you know what? I've noticed some things that I think we can improve with your ads. I've noticed an opportunity there that I think we can probably like get a way lower cost per click, cost per acquisition on our front end with our Facebook ads. I would actually, ads something I can do really well. And I'd love to actually write 5 different Facebook ads for you with dynamic creatives, and then 5 retargeting ads as well to get people in. And I'm fairly confident that that will make you an extra minimum probably 10 grand a month or something that we can be doing here. Probably even more, probably 10, 20, 30 grand a month. And for all that, I charge $3,000, right? So it's pretty easy. You just upsell them sort of one service at a time. Okay. And then you do their ads for a few weeks or a month, and then boom, you're like, hey, I noticed the sales page. I think it'd be stronger. It's only converting 0.5%, should be converting at ideally 1%. I could actually, if you want me to, I can go ahead and rewrite it and you do the 50-50 split thing. And you're like, it'll be $5 grand up front. And then, to make sure I have some skin in the game as well, don't pay me the other $5 grand until we hit 50 grand sales. And they're like, okay, let's give it a go. So you just kind of upsell them one service at a time. Before you know it, you're doing like everything for them. And you're getting paid like 10 grand a month because they've made 100 grand at least, right? They made way more for me. Yeah, so that's the thing, Colin, as well. Like I mentioned with this Justin Goff upsell pricing thing at the beginning, is there does have to be some trust there. Okay, so I wouldn't recommend doing any kind of 50-50 split type of model until, unless it's someone you've already worked with before and you're confident you can trust them. Which is why I'm saying, don't split you're not splitting your, in fact, this name's probably wrong. You're not splitting your price in half. It's not actually a split. It's just a straight up addition. So your price, let's say it's $5 grand for a sales letter. I'm not saying split it 2,500 up front, 2,500 afterwards. I'm saying still charge them $5 grand up front, your normal price, and then just add on an extra 5K once they hit a certain model. So absolute worst comes to worst, maybe they're a sleaze bag and they don't pay you the extra $5 grand. You still go pay your normal rate up front. Okay, and the $5 grand is kind of just a bonus. But ideally, of course, you want to make sure that it's someone that you know, like, and trust, who will actually pay you once they hit the milestone. So you can just ask them for access to their ClickFunnels, so you can see, just as a with view only access. So you can't edit and change shit, but you can just view the amount of sales. So just ask them for that up front. Just say, hey, they'll understand. You can say, hey, I've been burnt before. I do trust you, but I just want to make sure, the last person, I trusted him as well, but he screwed me over. So all I'm asking for, I just want view access to ClickFunnels so I can see when we actually hit that sales target. So we can celebrate, and also so I can make sure that I do actually get paid. And they'll understand. They'll be like, okay, yeah, that's fair enough. It's a fair request. Cool. And then cash. Then you get cash. Cool. On a similar topic as well, royalty deals, like I said, only with clients that you trust, is if you can manage to negotiate yourself getting paid 1% back end revenue attributed to your front end sale, that's pretty gangster. So for instance, every sale that you made on the front end, if you can negotiate, if you can track it properly, there's some high ticket thing selling on the back end. If you can negotiate earning 1% of the back end revenue, you're doing well. That could be an extra few thousand every month. Pretty gangster. If they're selling supplements, a pretty typical rate is $1 per bottle. $1 bottle per bottle. That does make sense. $1 bottle per bottle of supplement sold, right? So if you sell 6 bottles on the front end, $6. That's a royalty deal. It's pretty common in the supplement space. The biggest thing with this overall is just make sure you're selling to the right clients. Okay, so this means business owners, media buyers, or agencies who want to make more money with Facebook ads. Okay, so don't market to other freelancers or other copywriters or niches with not much money in them, or like just kind of broke mom and pop stores. The right types of clients makes all the difference. You want to be going after clients with money, okay, clients who can actually pay you, who are most of the time going to be business owners, media buyers, or agencies, and these are all services that you can sell to them. Okay, people who want to make more money with Facebook ads. That's kind of your ideal target that you want to go for. Cool. Let's talk about getting clients. Yes, there's more to it after CMB. There's more about getting clients. A couple ninja ways to get clients with everything that we've just went over with these 10 different upsells. Two pretty ninja ways. Number one, it's what I call the triple Sunday. It's a pretty fancy name that really just means triple samples. So just giving them 3 samples. So just like I talked about with the clients recommend DM cheat sheet, a great way to get clients is always to deliver value upfront. In exchange for, you want to ask for a testimonial or a referral or both. And the most important thing is that you have to set the expectation that the reason you're offering them 3 free emails or 3 free Facebook ads is that they actually test them. Number one best way to get clients. You just do the work in advance. You write 3 ads or you write 3 emails and you send it to them. You say, hey, I wrote you these ads. Test them out. Let me know how they go. And boom, they test them. If they perform, then you're pretty much just won yourself a client. You don't really have to do anything else. Your ads are performing better than the current ads. They're like, I'm hiring you. It's done. That easy. So write samples and send them to people. It's practice anyway that you should be doing. So either get practice or you get paid. Either way you win. Second method when it comes to getting clients is going to be what I call the ex-girlfriend. Or if you're a girl, the ex-boyfriend. Or if you're a lesbian, the ex-girlfriend. Or if you're a homosexual male, then it's ex-boyfriend. Oh dear. Okay. Gotta be politically correct these days. So I just call it the ex-girlfriend though. I think it's funny. All this is is you're just messaging past clients. Very, very easy way to get work. If you notice your work is starting to dry up, your client roster is starting to dry up, super easy way to get more work is to just go back to past clients you've worked with and say, hey, I noticed you're promoting this thing right now. Hey, I noticed you're launching this new offer, this new book, this new funnel, this new program, this new whatever. Would you like some help with that? That easy. I can write you ads for it. I can write you a sales page for it. I can write you emails for it, launch emails for it. There's a lot of there's so much different copy that they're going to need to launch any funnel. Right? They're going to need the funnel themselves. They're going to need the landing page. They're going to need the ads. They're going to need the emails. There's so much, and you can help them with that. Or if it's someone who you really, really want to work with, Triple Sunday Express with a cherry on top. Okay, this is a great rule to follow in general. If there's any client who you really, really want to work with, you're dying to work with them because they're a business that you love, or they're just a really big name company, or they're just a client that you love to work with, the best way you can go about landing that client is to just write samples and just send them the samples for free, and just ask that they test them and send them out to their list, or run ads. Okay, rather than saying, hey, I want to write you samples, where's the best place to send them, that kind of thing. You just literally write them and send them. You do the work up front and you send it. I know a lot of copywriters who have landed some big clients, Traffic and Funnels and Stefan Georgi, Justin Goff, worked with big players in Agora and people like that from doing exactly this. So yeah, sometimes it's not going to pan out and you will have feel like you've wasted time writing samples for nothing. But again, it's just free practice. Practice you should be doing anyway. That could result in a really good client. Cool. And on that topic, if you want to get rehired and not have to go back for sloppy seconds to your ex-girlfriend, you want to make sure, right, you always go the extra mile. You always over-deliver like crazy. So you're charging high prices, but also go above and beyond to deliver really incredible results and a great experience as well. So let's say, not only give them your best work, of course, but let's say you charge them for 5 ads. Go ahead and give them an extra ad or 2 for free. So actually give them 6 or give them 7. Maybe charge them 3 ads, write 5, write 4 or 5. They'll be like, whoa, you don't have to do that. That's really cool. You give them a bunch of extra ads to test, or a few different dynamic element creators they can test or something like that. They'll really appreciate the extra work, specifically if it provides extra results. They'll love you, and you're gonna get a client who's gonna hire you over and over again. Okay, it's kind of like the equivalent. A little hack I learned about how to get free drinks in a club or in a bar, or just really strong drinks or really cheap drinks. I think I learned from Greg Greenway or Ryan McGinn or something ages ago, and it's worked so well. No one does it. If you just tip the bartender really well, the first drink that he pours you, tip him like $20. The drink only costs $10. You tip him like $20. That dude will fucking love you, and he will look after you. Like he will give you sneaky free drinks. He'll give you free double shots. He'll make sure you get served. You want to line up. He'll make sure you get taken care of. And you might, if you can, within his power, okay, because they're not really allowed to do discounts and shit, but in his power, he'll try and give you discounts and all sorts of hookups. And the $20 you gave him in tips, you'll probably make that back just from all of the extra free shit he's giving you. So it's kind of a similar idea here. You want to really go above and beyond the first time, really knock their socks off and make them go, holy shit, that was so worth it. I'm so glad I hired you. Boom, you got a client for life. Like they're gonna hire you over and over and over again, and they'll look after you. They'll treat you well. Always go that extra mile. The extra mile isn't crowded because no one's done it. There you go. Last thing I'll say before we wrap up today, we won't cover this because it's not actually really relevant to today. So just about professionalism. Okay, so this is like a super big thing when it comes to dealing with high level clients, and particularly if you want to be getting rehired over and over again, like there's certain things that aren't just purely results based that are going to go a long way in making them actually want to work with you again and making them want to refer you to other people. And it's just simple shit like delivering on time. You'd be amazed how many. Yeah, Sean giving a lecture about being on time. I am on time when it comes to delivering shit. I'm just not on time when it comes to being at a certain time and place. Always like 5 minutes late permanently. Anyway, but working on it. So just like if you said that you have it by Thursday, like fucking give it to them by Thursday. That's so important. Like don't be like hitting them up on Thursday morning, Wednesday night, be like, oh dude, can I have an extra day? Something came up. Like they just don't want to deal with that. They have enough on their plate as it is. They want the work done by the day that you said it would be done. So a way to circumvent this is if you think it's going to take 4 days, say it's going to take a week. Okay, just say I'll give it to you by next Monday, and then that way you're giving yourself a bit of buffer time. So maybe shit does come up and you do get in a fucking car accident or whatever. Your roommate throws a fucking 24-hour house party, and you're like, oh my god, I can't get anything done. I'm so drunk. Right? Those are the 2 examples I think of out of everything. But a lot of shit could happen. That's the point. Okay, so allow yourself that buffer time in advance, and then if you do get it done in 4 days, you look like a hero. You look like a champion because you were 3 days early, and they'll be like, legend. Okay, just set the expectation at the beginning, and then make sure whatever you do, you're on time with the deliverable. Cool, that will go a long way. Also, make your deliverables clean. Make them well organized, make them easy to read. It's crazy how many copywriters deliver emails and ads in a Google Doc, and they're like 12 different fonts and 3 different colors and sizes, and the spacing's all terrible. Like it just looks like ass to read, and you're like, this fucking, I want to rip out my eyeballs looking at this thing. So it's like they don't want to pay a lot of money for, pardon my French, but shit that looks like ass, right? So make your deliverable clean. Organize the Dropbox or the Google Drive folders. Name them appropriately so it's clear what's in each folder. Give each ad a headline and a name. So this is cold, campaign cold email 1 dash this angle dash angle 1, right? This is cold email angle 2, right? This is retargeting objection handling ad angle 1, right? Just clearly label everything, make it look neat and clean and put together. And that'll go a long way. Okay, it'll save them a lot of stress and headache, and they'll be like, oh, cool, I can just not worry about bullshit and easily read it. Okay, if you can link the headings to like a table of contents or something, like if it's a super long 20-page document, and that'll help a lot as well. Cool, just the basics, okay? Basics, right? Like the correct link sharing settings. So many people, right? There was like, here's a link, here's the final ads, and then they forgot to update the link sharing settings. And it's like still restricted to me only or something like that. And then they have to email you and have to be like, dude, can you give me sharing access, sharing permission? You have to update the link in Google Drive. Right? It's like all this simple shit like that. Just make sure you get it right, because a lot of the time, like you got to remember, the higher level business owner they're hiring you just as much for your expertise as they are to save time, because they probably could do stuff themselves, so they have other people that they could get to do it. But they're hiring you because they want to save time, because they don't want to be dealing with all this bullshit like asking you for the correct link settings or chasing you up because you're not on time or constantly having to communicate with you because you have a bunch of questions. Like the less time investment they need to give you, the happier they'll be and the more they'll be happy to pay. Okay, I know Stefan Georgi and Justin Goff. There's someone they hire, I think his name's Mario. They hire him all the time, like every month, once a month for different sales pages and promo, and they pay him a lot. They pay him like 10 or 20 grand per project because they know he's reliable, he's low maintenance, he won't ask me a bajillion questions, and he'll just deliver exactly what I need. He'll deliver high quality copy on the date it needs to be delivered, no fuss, no problems, like clockwork every time. And they're happy to pay a premium. They're happy to pay an extra 5 grand, extra even 10 grand for the privilege of not being a headache, right? Just make sure you just kind of get this basic stuff right, and that'll go a long way. Cool. Amazing. That concludes today's training, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about some assignments. Firstly, what I'd love to know from the survivors that we have here on the call, Melanie and Peter, what was your number 1 takeaway from today? If you could let me know in the chat, that would be amazing. most of all, who here is excited to get out there and offer additional services and double your income per client? It's so easy. Just so many freelancers don't think to do it. And I've just given you a menu of everything you can offer. It's not an exhaustive menu. There's so much more you can do. But 10 things that you can go and offer that pretty much all of you can do to double your income from every client. I've given you pricing guidelines so you know roughly what's appropriate to charge and resources where you can go online and get better at these things. There's no reason you should be doing this. Like, it's such an easy way. Rather than going out there and looking for new clients all the time, just increase the income that you're getting from your current clients by providing them with more value. It's super easy. Very cool. Glad you guys got all out of this. So, assignments. Melanie likes the drug dealer method in the Triple Sunday. Very cool. I like my naming conventions. I got 4 things for you today that I want you to go ahead and implement everything we've learned from today. So, first one is I want you to list out 10 more ways that you can help your clients make more money. I've given you 10 here in today's training, 10 different upsell options. There are so many other things you can do as well. So I want you to brainstorm, really stretch your imagination. Okay. I don't care how silly it may sound. Sometimes the silly ideas are things that actually turn into legit ideas. So brainstorm 10 different ways you can help your clients make more money. Because again, if you can help them make your clients more money, that's the name of the game. If you can provide them better results, then they're happy to pay you more in return. Cool. Next, send 3 free samples, emails or ads to at least 1 new prospect a week. So I want you to do 1 Triple Sunday every week. Which means it's kind of like the clients on command outreach where you're like, hey, I wrote 3 samples. Where's the best place to send them? Except rather than saying all that, you're like, here's 3 samples I wrote for you. Boom, link. So you actually do the work up front. Like you kind of promise, you are in the clients on command thing, except instead of going off and writing them, you actually have written them already and you send them the samples. I want you to do that once a week for a client that you really would love to work with. And dude, you do that once a week, 52 times a year. You're doing that, you're gonna end the year with a dream list of prospects, sorry, of clients. Your client roster will be like full, and it'll be full of clients that you actually love working with. If you do this, I assure you, if you do this every week for an entire year, you'll be making really good money working with clients that you love, which is the name of the game. Cool. 3, after you do that, of course, your work's not over. Okay. Follow up relentlessly. Don't just be like, here's some samples and then hear from them, right? Follow up to 8 times. Remember, either with playful persistence, like John Buchan style, where you're kind of like, his sort of style, cheeky kind of humor that's entertaining and borderline a little bit self-deprecating in a way that's kind of funny. Okay. Or if it's a client you really want to work with, then follow up with value. Okay. AKA literally write more samples for them for free as a follow-up. I know it's like, oh my God, so much extra work. This will absolutely pay off. It's not going to pay off with every client you do it with, but for the right client, it'll be the one person it'll absolutely pay off. I assure you. So when you're following up, you're like, hey, so you send them 3 sample emails, then you follow up and you're like, hey, I wrote you another free sample email. Send it to your list, let me know how it goes. Hey, I noticed you're promoting this kind of thing. I went ahead and wrote your Facebook ad for it. Launch the ad and let me know how it goes. Hey, I noticed you're promoting this thing. I actually went ahead and rewrote the lead of your sales page. If you just continuously keep doing that, they're gonna be like, holy shit, this person is not only persistent, but like, damn, who does this? Like, who goes this far above and beyond to get my attention by just giving me all this like free stuff? You're gonna get hired. Like, not straight away, probably, maybe not by the first person, but you want to do this with very many clients to pretty much guarantee you're gonna get hired. And if you're doing something with clients you really would love to work with, you're pretty much like guaranteeing you're gonna end up with a client roster full of people that you love. And they're gonna pay you well. Like I said, it's practice you should be doing anyway. So you may as well turn it into an opportunity to get paid for it. Cool. And then number 4, I want every single person here who has clients already, I want you to book an upsell call with every single one of your clients for sometime in the next 7 days. The script you're going to use, like I said, is, hey man, I see an opportunity, or I love the work we've been doing together so far. You know what? I actually see an opportunity for us to make more money in this department, with our ads. And I have some ideas that I actually run by you, that I want to run by you. Would you have like 5-10 minutes free sometime this week for a quick chat? It's that simple. Okay. And then you get on the phone and you say, hey, you basically just say this again. And you're like, you know what? I think we're crushing it with emails, but I think, we frankly could be growing our email list way faster. If we had 10,000 people on our email list instead of 5,000, we would be making twice as much money. And I think based on what I've seen through ads, I think we can dramatically lower your cost per acquisition so we can acquire leads for way cheaper and grow our list way faster to make more money. And so then you just present your offer. So you're like, I'd love to write, here's what I recommend we do, right? You're the trusted advisor, you're the expert, you're the doctor, you're not the order taker. Okay. You're basically going in and saying, hey, here's what I recommend we do. Based on clients I've worked with previously, and what I've seen working the best in this industry right now is 5 cold Facebook ads, each with dynamic creatives, and then 5 retargeting ads, 3 handling objections, and 2 with testimonials. And I think that, that's like 625 variations, and that'll dramatically like lower our CPC and help us make way more money. Does that sound, does that make sense? And they're gonna be like, yeah. And you'll be like, so I can do all that for $200 per ad is my rate. With dynamic creative is $300 an ad, which means you get 5 variations in every ad instead of 1. And then the same thing for the retargeting. So if you $1,500 plus $1,500, which is $3,000, does that sound fair enough? Okay. And you want to remind them $3,000, but likely to make you probably at least 30 to 50, maybe $100,000 in the next few months. Does that sound fair enough? It's a super easy close. Okay. Especially because they already know, like, and trust you. They're already happy with the work you're doing for them. They're not a stranger. Okay. And if you've delivered up to this point, they're probably gonna be like, cool, let's do it. It's that easy. And boom, you just add an extra $3,000 to your income like that. Amazing. Crew. Hopefully today was valuable, and you're as excited about this as I am. Fucking juiced. Helping y'all make more money as freelancers. It's what I do. It's what I've been doing day in, day out for the last 3 years. And gets me fired up when you guys win. So please implement and do everything we talked about today. Don't just learn it, be like, wow, that was awesome and valuable, and then don't, implement anything. Please go out, do these 4 assignments, implement everything we went over here today, and I assure you, chances are very high you will literally double your income per client without needing to sign any more clients. You can double your income from 5 to 10 grand a month with the same amount of clients you have now. If you have like 3 clients, okay, and then upsell every new client that you work with. So easy. So much money being left on the table by so many people. I don't want you to be one of them. Cool. So hopefully, help you smash that 10K a month mark even faster. Or if you're at 10, help you get to 15, 20, 30, so on and so forth. So on that note, my laptop is about to die. Perfect timing. Hope you all out today, and I will see you badass guys and girls, Melanie and Peter. It's been fun. I'll see you next week. 6 dials next week. Be ready. Let's do it. See you.